did like the rant, Ben. I did like
We
it.
May Be Giants.
I liked your rant about They Might Be Giants.
Yeah.
So you really don't like the album. Have you ever, though, this is a question, have you ever had a record that you literally hated or you didn't like very much, and then years later you've actually come around to liking it? Or you either stop hating it so much, or you actually started to go from dislike to like, or maybe even hate to love. Can you think of an example of that?
I don't have anything that springs to mind. I mean, obviously, like the Smiths, it just used to annoy me. But this might sound a little bit sort of thingy, but one band that I have come to love that during the time of, because I was at school, I actually quite like Take That. I quite like Take That's back catalogue.
This wasn't going to be guilty pleasures. This was just going to be...
No, I know, but Gary Barlow is a songwriter, and sort of when I was at school, it was like, oh yeah, all the girls like Take That, so your natural defense mechanism was... But I don't know, there is an album out there, because normally I'm quite sort of, if I don't like it, then there's not a cat and mouse chance I'm listening to it. But, no, there's nothing that really springs to mind.
You can't think of one that you used to hate that you now like. I'm trying to think of one. I can think, actually, did I ever hate it? I'll tell you what one I do enjoy now, which I didn't like at the time when I first got into rock music, and that's Jump by Van Halen. Because I thought that was an example of American rock going very cheesy in the 80s and having synths on it and being commercial. But now, to be honest, I think it's really enjoyable. So I dig it. I now dig Jump by Van Halen.
Yeah, I see there was a lot of stuff around. See, like Blur albums, not because I was an Oasis fan, but I don't think I've ever gone through their back because I just think I'm just not going to enjoy Blur now. I don't mind, like sort of like that Beatle Bum era when they went a little bit darker and that. But things like the Part Life album and Modern Life is rubbish. Was it?
Yeah.
It just seems a little bit apples and pears for me. So I've never given it the time of day. Too much
Cockney-Mockney stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you go into Park Life, if you go into the Park Life album, there is stuff on there that's not in that vein.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
there are songs that are like that, but there are some that are not. So
is
it's a bit
End
of
the Century on there? Is that on?
I think End of the Century, and yeah, that's on Park Life. I think. Have you ever heard?
That's a great track.
Have you ever heard Clover Over Dover?
No.
That's good. Or it's a little bit more like what you don't like. Trouble in the Message Centre. You heard that one? That's a good one. London Loves. Have you heard London Loves? That's a good track. And well, the big one at the end of the album, This Is a Low. Have you listened to This Is a Low? That's a good track. There's some good tracks on the second half of Park Life that are worth checking out.
If you can hear rattling in the background,
yeah,
that's my boy loading up the log burner, keeping himself warm.
That's fine. He's got to keep himself warm, you know.
No, he doesn't. What he needs to be doing, he's a child. He should be up the chimney sweeping it.
Well, there is that as well, yeah.
Well, do you know what well, I say he's been putting wood on the fire. He's not actually putting wood on the fire. What I did in the break over the last couple of days when I listened to They May Be Giants, I went out and I bought 15,000 copies of the album. It cost me 76p, and I'm literally burning them. So I did go to like the discount stores, the charity shops and Poundland. They all refused to sell it because they've actually got some class. So yeah, I found 15,000 copies and I'm burning them. It's amazing how well they keep you warm.
I'd like to know if any of our viewers agree with Ben about They Might Be Giants and the album Flood. You can go and stream it, have a listen, see what you think. Can you get more than 4 songs in, like Ben did?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can.
You see,
I think it'd be hard.
You see, you've slagged this album off, but you haven't listened to the whole album.
Because I don't need to. Because the first 4 tracks sort of set the tone.
How do you know
it's not going to dramatically change, is it? I think.
How do you know it doesn't sound like Oasis for the rest of the album?
Because Philip. It won't.
How do you know that Noel Gallagher didn't plagiarise most of his stuff from the second half of the They Might Be Giants album?
Because I like to think me and Noel are quite similar. Talented, mega wealthy, no famous people. And if he's anything like me, he would have got to at least track 2 and thrown it out the window.
I can imagine he might have done with that album, actually.
Yeah. But no, in regards to your question, there's no album out there which I think I've disliked
you didn't like it, and then you've gone back to start liking it again.
I mean,
or are there records that you thought are the ones that you thought were uncool? You avoided them because they weren't cool, but then you've come into liking them because you've chilled out a bit.
Probably, yeah. I mean, the Keane debut album, I didn't really like that when it first came out, but it's not too bad.
I tell you who liked Keane at the time and rated them is Paul McCartney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can see why. Because, is it Tom Chaplin? He's got that sort of Paul McCartney young cheeks thing going on.
Maybe that was the reason.
But yeah, there's a lot of sort of bands where I've sort of, I've thought, oh, maybe I should go and listen to them, and I've never really ventured. I'd have to go through my collection.
There's some stuff I didn't get when I was younger that I didn't really get.
Yeah, well, the Smiths is the big one for me.
Yeah.
Never really sort of.
Bruce Springsteen was one for me when I was a kid. He seemed all a bit too full-throated and full on for me.
All jazz records. I would never have listened to Miles Davis, etc.
Yeah. It took a long time. Well, it took a long time for me to get into certain jazz records. There's some that are easier to get into than others, and there's some that I listened to years ago and I didn't dig them, and I do dig them now.
So I must admit, when I was in peak Oasis, sort of 16, 17, I kind of liked hip hop, and I wasn't. My brother was quite into like Tupac and all that, and I just didn't see the point of it. So I suppose in a way I have come to embrace. Then again, I say that because around 96, well, mid 95, I got into the Fugees with their debut album before they released a score. So, but yeah, there was some hip hop that I never really used to sort of. I used to think, oh god, I can't be bothered listening to that. I'm just having a look through my collection at the moment to see if there's anything. Elbow, there's another band that sort of took me a little while to get into.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think we've all got those, haven't we? Acts or bands that we've heard a bit of it and thought hasn't quite grabbed me, but then something flicks the switch for you, and then you get into it.
Yeah, I think as you grow older, don't you? Your earbuds become more mature, and you're sort of more accepting of different things. Like I said, I would never have bought a Take That album or listened to Take That 20 years ago, but it's harmless, well constructed pop, isn't it? So I'm still having a look through my collection to see if there is anything that sort of springs to mind. But I'm very much one of them, Philip, is I likes what I likes, and if I don't likes it, I don't listen to it. But if I likes it, I listen to it. So, but yeah, jazz was a big one. You wouldn't have caught me putting on John Coltrane because I just don't think I got it. There's bands that I used to listen to.
It can take a while to dig jazz, for sure.
Yeah, there's bands that I used to listen to, which I used to think, oh, they're all right, and then I fell out of love with them. I really loved not The Man Who, but The Invisible Band by Travis. Really, really liked that. And I listened to it quite a bit. And then I just fell out of love with it. And then I just found Travis a little bit wet, if that makes sense. I'll tell you, and trip hop, things like Portishead, Massive Attack. Didn't used to like that sort of stuff, but now I really, really enjoy a bit of trip hop and stuff. So, Bell and Sebastian, probably another one where I used to think, but now I quite enjoy that one. So.
Yeah, some of the Massive Attack stuff I do like. I have to. Should I confess this?
Yes.
I never really liked Unfinished Sympathy by Massive Attack that much. I mean, I can see why people like it, but I've never really gone for it that much.
Yeah.
I can
Is
sort
that
of,
because it was overplayed, or?
I suppose it's just one of those that I just sort of, there's something about it never quite connected with me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad record. I can see that it is good or
It's
even
weird,
great.
isn't it? Because when we
But
all listen to music, we all hear the same thing,
yeah,
but it's each person has their own individual. I suppose it's with anything, individual response. So I can listen to an Oasis album and think this is mega, and somebody else can listen to it and just think, oh, this is awful. And
there
it's
are
weird
people
how
that
it's all wired up in our brains that we
yeah.
like certain things. And
I've liked other stuff by Massive Attack more than Unfinished Sympathy. I did always
yeah,
quite like Portishead though. I thought the Portishead stuff was good, but I've
I
never
really,
gone.
really enjoyed Portishead.
I've never gone mad into that kind of stuff, but I think it's good.
Yeah. I'm just having a look through to see if there's anything else. There's nothing really that springs to mind. As I've said, the Water Boys might be another one where I've kind of grown into them more as I've got older than when I just found them a little bit folky and flimmy-flammy. But yeah, no, Ian joined the Blockheads, another one where I sort of probably didn't appreciate it when I was younger and quite enjoy it now. I quite like his
You can sort of dig the coolness of it now and the
yeah.
wittiness
But
and
well, as we all know, I did buy a James Blunt record recently, so that's another one which,
talk about confessions. I mean, have you actually listened to the James Blunt record?
I have, and it falls very much into that category of it's just very well. Once you get a bit like Morrissey, once you get past the voice, and you've actually realised it's actually very well constructed pop music. It's not. It's not going to cause your ears to bleed, I suppose, is the best thing to say about it. It's harmless pop. You can put it on background if unless you're sort of writing for Pitchfork. I'm not going to sit there, debating the chord structure and everything of it. So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't say there's an album that I hated and I've come to like. There's stuff that I probably wouldn't have listened to, which I have listened to now. So I'm maturing, aren't I, Phil? I'm like fine cheese or wine or one of those old library books I've still got from 1993. I'm a fine vintage, Phil. So, and I've got James Blunt album. Oh God, I've admitted it.
I can't believe that you've admitted that. I don't think I've got anything I could confess to that reaches that level. I can't.
I bet you have.
I can't think of anything that would be considered to be as embarrassing as James Blunt. I can't think that I've got anything that's.
Tell you what, if you get You're Beautiful out the way, come on, look at my hair. He does write a good pop song.
Maybe I should give him a chance. Maybe I should have a quick listen.
Give him a try. Give him a listen. And
because it's mainly his voice that I find a little whiny. That's the thing I find a little whiny.
Yeah.
And then the fact he's sort of middle of the road and considered to be a bit. Well, he's not the cutting edge because he's blunt.
See what you did there.
So that's the thing, isn't it? Because he's because he's not considered cutting edge music. I haven't felt the need to sort of investigate him to try and find if I'm missing something cool.
No, I don't think you're missing anything cool. But if you like well constructed, it's not going to be like Radiohead. Like oh God, man, we can get 15 chord structures into this 4-beat rhythm here, and oh man, it's guy with a guitar in it. In answer to your question.
There we are, viewers. So have you got artists or maybe a particular album or is a particular band or artist that you used to hate, actively dislike, and now you've changed your mind on them and you genuinely like it?
I've got one.
You've got. I can see you've got one. What have you got?
I used to really dislike Mariah Carey.
Yeah, now you dislike
I
her even more.
really dislike Mariah Carey. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that diva confession, we will leave this discussion where Ben left it. Thanks for
In
watching.
the gutter.
We'll do another one soon. All the best. Take
Be
care.
good.